All right, Eric, Ejay, hey. The final week. This time we find out what the Hive is thinking. Although the Hive isn't this big this week. What happened?
30, I think we ended up at 37 or 39. I
Oh,
forget the
a little
number.
bit better.
Yeah.
I think
A
the
little bit
last
better
time
than
I
30.
saw was 30. And
It was 30. A lot of
yeah,
people came in
cowards.
late. I even left it open until this morning, and Enmore can thank me for that. His entry came in at his timestamps like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
Which 3 a.m. Eastern time. I don't know about out in
He's
Sydney,
like
but
the next day. He's on
right,
Saturday already, or out. I
right,
don't even know
yeah.
what time. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he's the last one in. I think he's 30. Like I said, 37 or 39.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a couple new names, which is interesting. Like people coming in just for the tournament.
They're gonna hit it all. They're gonna in one fell swoop. They're gonna be on the top of the leaderboard because they guessed them all right.
Their odds are fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. They're my odds. They're my odds. Yeah. Like I share my odds with people if that's what they're thinking. So.
Well, hopefully these new people haven't been listening to you. Listen to you and said, "Okay, now I got it. I know what to do."
Well,
and
we know that this is a case of making sure that whatever I say, they don't know that if they just joined. What I say, pick the opposite because I have such the expertise and.
And the truth is, I'm really winning this thing. I just can't tell anybody that because that would look bad. So
You're
I take some points off.
Yeah,
I take some points off each week.
Yeah. You're slow walking it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So. All right. So let us begin. With where we're at. What does the Hive think?
So what I did is I sorted the just as a refresher, I took the games I selected this week were the 10 games where the teams had the closest NPI rankings, which in theory should indicate that it will be a competitive game.
In theory.
In theory, it should be a competitive game if you're close in NPI ranking.
Yeah.
So I took the 10 hardest games, and interestingly enough, looks like we thought those were pretty easy games to pick. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So the 10 games, the easiest game out of the 10 that I selected, the easiest game to pick was Ohio Northern Franciscan. Ohio Northern 95%, Franciscan 5. I don't know Franciscan. I know you know them a little bit. I don't know them at all.
Beautiful school. And it was zero draw, which basically nobody gives Franciscan a chance. And I was just called because, as I mentioned before we started recording, I just recorded the first episode, my first coach interview episode of this season, postseason. And I was told by this coach not to overlook Franciscan, that he thinks they're that good.
All right.
And so let's add some dynamic to that. The head coach of Franciscan is the former Ohio Northern coach.
Right. That's the interesting storyline there, for sure.
Yeah. So drama. I would have thought that it would have been a little bit more even, but I totally understand why Ohio Northern is.
So
overall.
their rankings are 60 and 19.
Yeah.
And Franciscan's 13, 1, and 5. So I mean, it's the tournament. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
I'm really surprised, and you kind of touched on it. There's no draw on this game. Which is interesting, and there's actually very few draws.
Yeah,
which shocks me.
Yeah,
I thought there would be more draws where people just assume this game is going to PKs.
I would have thought that there would have been more draws on games like this one, Ohio Northern Franciscan, where they're like, yeah, I'm not too sure about Franciscan, but I don't want to pick Ohio Northern. Let me give a draw.
Right.
And on all of them, I would have thought when in doubt, let's pick a draw. But clearly not. clearly
Nope,
not.
clearly not. 95%. Yeah.
Yeah. Although
Next.
the same coach, by the way, said Ohio Northern is probably one of the best teams that he's played.
Okay.
So
Well, Ohio Northern's good.
yeah, I
They
don't.
could
Beating Messiah last year was not a fluke.
they yeah, no, they're good. They could do well. I
Yeah,
mean, so they play, and if they win that game, then they get Denison Anderson.
yeah.
So, and
And then
then
they would go to Virginia, I think, or
yeah, Mary
they could
Washington or
marry
whatever.
Washington. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, they're going to give people games. So I
yeah,
can see why they're picked to win here. We know they're going to score goals. So
yeah.
95%. Okay.
Where did my bracket go? I'm disorganized and disheveled today.
It's Friday. You're allowed to
Disorganized
be.
and disheveled. Here it is. All right, so what's up
All
next?
right. So next easiest game to pick: Ohio Wesleyan Catholic. Ohio Wesleyan 87%, Catholic 5%, draw 8%.
I, I
Catholic
don't.
is not the Catholic of old.
They're not Catholic of last year, but I don't
They're
think
not
they're. I
Catholic
don't
of
think they're
last year.
5% Catholic.
No, I don't think they're
Uh,
5% Catholic either. I mean, I've seen them play a couple times. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't think they're great.
yeah,
They're good. I think they can. I think they can be successful. There's no reason why they can't win a first round game,
yeah,
regardless of who they're playing. So 5% seems a little bit low, but it is Ohio Wesleyan, who's on the Jay Martin farewell tour.
yeah.
This could be the last game. I would suspect they will not lose. So 87%, I'm okay with.
And this is right. This is Denison, right? No, no. I'm sorry. They are where? Where's their?
This is at Ohio Northern, right?
This is
No,
at.
no. Where are they playing?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Catholic. Yeah, they're at Mary Washington
They are at Mary Wash. Yeah,
in
yeah,
Virginia on the grass.
yeah, yeah.
Do they all have to be? Do they have to be on grass? Did I read that somewhere?
No, I
No.
thought they also have a turf field.
Yeah.
I thought they play on
And
at
Mary
one
Washington,
point.
they don't play on that turf field though.
No, no, no. They
Out
play on the
front, no, though
grass.
they play down the
Yeah,
what battlefield
Battlefield
complex. Yeah,
Park or whatever it is.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
down at the end of the street. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So,
So anyway, that's
all right.
I mean, it's a similar line to the O and U game. Heavy favorites, not a lot of faith in a underdog or draw. Same with the next game. Hope DePaul, 84% Hope, 8% DePaul, 8% draw. I mean, another
This
kind
is
of
one.
runaway.
I mean, whatever you want to say about DePaul, like they just won the NCAC.
Yeah.
You know, and what? Hope's the MIAA winner.
Hmm.
Is that who that? Yeah. I mean, to me, this is again another one where it's like I'm not saying give DePaul. I'm not saying more people should have picked DePaul. I just would have thought less people would have picked Hope, or
More on the
less
draw.
people. Yeah, less people would have picked Ohio Wesleyan. Less people would have picked Ohio Northern, and and
So
and and been more towards. All right, it's going to end in a draw.
right, right. So you got
So
Hope at 13, 2, and 3,
yeah,
ranked 32, and DePaul at 10, 4, and 6, ranked 64.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean these draws are really surprising.
Unless people were just like, well, this is one and done, right? So that's why there's
Right.
less draws. Maybe that was it, but whatever.
Maybe it's a question of there's overtime and they just wear them
Yeah,
down and eventually
yeah,
get one in
yeah,
overtime or something.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the next one's the same thing. Washington and Lee Otterbein.
Yeah. This is
Washington
another
and
one.
Lee, 83%.
Yeah.
Otterbein 14, draw 3. Like, not even a draw.
That's another one. Like
Right.
Otterbein's
The,
better than that. Like I would have
these
thought more
first four
people.
games,
Yeah,
over 80%.
yeah. And we don't see like that to me is. I
We
think
don't
we
see that at
said
all.
like over 75% is almost like you're just saying the majority is saying there's only one team that's going to win. Like like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I would have thought. I would have thought Otterbein would more people would have given Otterbein a chance, but
Give them a draw at least.
give them a draw. They're not bad. They're really disciplined. The game they played against my Purple Raiders and for the conference tournament final. I mean they're organized
Yeah.
and they're hard to get through, and so Washington and Lee has a game on their hands, and it just yeah. Um, so
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see which team shows up. I feel like Otterbein's been hot and cold,
yeah.
and
Although I will
Washington
say,
and Lee
yeah.
was struggled a little bit at the beginning of
And
the
now
year.
and then they go
Seemed to
like
put things together.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this next one is I will say I was expecting it to be a third.
Okay. The Vassar and Rowan game.
Correct.
Rowan 65, Vassar 32, draw 3. Just, so I have Rowan in this one. I know a lot of people are high on Vassar, especially all of our friends up in Canton,
Yeah.
who are pulling for the conference, the respect of the conference.
The respect the conference.
Right. And I know you were high on Vassar. I've been high on Rowan. They've unfortunately we've talked about them a couple of times. They lost and tied some games they probably shouldn't have. But I think this is what they built their schedule for this game,
Yeah.
to play a solid
Yeah.
first round opponent and win.
That I can agree with. And just defensively, just be very, very, very difficult to break down. I picked Vassar.
Okay.
I picked Vassar.
So I'm feeling good about my Rowan selection.
Yeah, you should be. Oh, I'm sorry. I picked Mount Union in that game.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Was that you that did all the write-ins for Mount Union? I couldn't
Yeah,
figure who that was.
yeah. Draw Mount
Yeah.
Union. Draw Mount Union.
Well, how did Mount Union do against St. Lawrence in the friendly the other day? Yeah.
Oh, they did fantastically. They
Yeah.
did just. It was. I
Uh,
mean, if it wasn't for it reminded me of the game they played in 1998 with that
did it? Yeah.
freshman outside back who was just
Yeah.
lightning speed, and
He's going to be something this
he's going
next
to be
4 years.
something. Yeah, next 4 years he's going to light it up.
He's going to be an all-time Purple Raider.
Oh Lord!
Uh,
Hate mail cometh. Hate
Here it
mail
comes.
cometh. Oh my
Oh, it's all in
God!
good fun. It's all in
Oh,
good
totally. We love it.
Unfortunately, I mean, I like Rowan, and I do like Vassar too. I would like to see these teams do well. Unfortunately, whoever wins is likely going to get Middlebury. I
Yeah.
mean, this could be a one and done situation.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they don't have an opportunity to play somebody else. Although I guess everybody ends up playing a NESCAC in game two anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's it. Like
we're
there's no avoiding.
eventually you got to play them, and almost everybody has to play them in the second round.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Is it true? Is every bracket have one
almost.
Middlebury? I think so.
You mean one NESCAC game?
Or one NESCAC game? Not one NESCAC team.
No,
Maybe
there's one
not.
at the bottom. Wisconsin bracket doesn't. The Eau Claire bracket doesn't. And I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mary Washington. Mary Washington bracket doesn't.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good. Then they
those
can't
two.
all make all eight
Those
of them
two.
can't make the final four.
That's yeah, right. The Elite Eight is nothing but
The Elite
NESCAC.
Eight is yeah.
Well, who's
It's
it? Somebody said there's a good chance you could see at least three teams in the
three
Final Four.
teams in the final four. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh Lord,
I
Lord
know.
help us. All right.
This next game, Lynchburg Emory. This is a close game, I thought. 62% to Lynchburg, 24% to Emory, 14% on the draw.
This is how bad I am. This is how bad I am at this whole thing, which makes me question what I'm doing with my life in Division Three soccer. I would have thought this one with Lynchburg would have been an 80%er.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because Emory's a barely over 500 team and the
Correct.
UAA isn't that good this
And
year, and
the UAA strikes me as that it wasn't
right,
as
right,
competitive
and
as it has
Lynchburg's
been.
home.
And Lynchburg is home. And
Yeah,
Lynchburg is really riding high, right? I mean, ODAC and everything. So
yeah,
I just
yeah,
don't.
62%.
Yeah, I would have thought more people would have just defaulted to
And
Lynchburg.
Emory wasn't. Was it last year? They weren't necessarily that great. They weren't the top one of the top UAA teams.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
remembering that correctly?
I thought so. That's Emory.
Like, in other words,
No,
is this
because
kind of like a flash in the pan
yeah.
year?
Let's see schedule. They're 8-6-2 this year. Oh, they were 12-3-4 last year.
Okay.
Um,
All right, maybe it wasn't last year then.
but they weren't they didn't win the UAA.
No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen them play this year.
Yeah, I watched them. They play. I can't remember one of the games I watched. They just, they. I don't know. I don't know. Again, maybe it was against Case. 'Cause I like Case.
Mm,
Again, and I don't think it was the best of games, and I thought it was, average two average teams competing,
right,
and not to say that they are average, but I was that was the result, and then I started wondering about the UAA, and that's when it all led to, well, they're all beating each other up, and nobody
right.
seems to be a clear favorite, which tells me maybe they're not all that good, right? Like, so because if they were all that good, then team right, there would have been the second NESCAC.
Right.
So
So yeah, Lynchburg 62, Emory 24.
yeah, all right.
The next one is our first NESCAC,
And his
our
first
only NESCAC,
NESCAC.
I guess.
Yeah,
Hamilton, Calvin. Calvin 60%, Hamilton 22, draw 19.
that's 22%. Or again, I think this is probably the most interesting game because then this could be a testament as to okay, how good is the NESCAC,
Well,
top to bottom, right? I
yeah,
think
that's fair. Is Calvin really the litmus test to determine that, though?
no, but it's a good test.
Yeah, it's a good test.
Yeah,
It's a good out of conference game, and a lot of times the NESCACs don't get a lot of good out of conference games.
correct.
So it is a good out of conference game. Um, I don't know that Calvin is the Calvin of old.
No, last year, no, they're not.
So they're not as dangerous as they could be or have
Yeah,
been. Um,
but they're always organized.
yeah,
They are quick on the attack. Again, this is just going to be interesting to see. Does Hamilton, yeah, Hamilton compete outside of the NESCAC, and I don't know.
I wish
This
the
is one I
NASCAR
really.
played
Oh, so do
more
I.
independent,
Yeah,
non-conference games
yeah,
against good opponents.
yeah,
Um, if like, it'd be great to see Hamilton. They play Calvin, and then if they win that, they play, probably Kenyon. It'd be great to see what they
yeah,
can do against those teams.
yeah,
So yeah, what do we got? Calvin 60, Hamilton 22.
yeah.
All right. Good luck to Hamilton.
What's the draw? 20?
19.
6-19. Okay,
19, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I can live with that one. I think I can live with that one.
I Yeah, I think I took a draw on this one just because
Yeah,
it's the NESCAC, and the NESCAC
yeah.
usually
Draws.
usually they usually do well against uh, out of conference opponents, but
Yeah,
Hamilton not being one of the top teams in NESCAC, so
yeah.
we'll see.
This next
When was the last
one,
time Hamilton was in the tournament, by the way?
I don't even know. I don't. That's a good
So good for
question.
them. Good for them.
I will say, right, like I mean, certainly the beneficiary,
Yeah.
and right, and I think if I remember talking to Coach Bianco about it, there was talk about, hey, how do we get teams that wouldn't normally make it
Mm,
because of they're buried in their own conference, right? And how do you get them? How do we get them um, into the tournament?
right.
And so I think I think this is they're a case for that, right? Where
Yeah. I mean, what were they? Were
Hamilton
they
would,
were the eighth team? Were they the eighth team or
yeah,
17th? Which one were they?
they,
Hamilton 30.
yeah,
Bowdoin was 24. Yeah. So Hamilton's the eighth one.
yeah. So 7, 6, and 3, right? Like I just think they're the beneficiary. Do I think
Oh,
it's right or I don't know, but
right.
I, you
Right.
know,
Right. And
um,
not to harp on it because we did talk about it and it has been
yeah,
mentioned in the boards. I don't think anybody's saying Hamilton's not a good team or Bowdoin's
yeah,
not a good team.
correct.
Yeah, they're a good team. It's just a little off-putting when you're 7, 6, and 3,
Yeah, yeah.
and another good team who is 13, 2, and 2
Doesn't.
doesn't get in.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
So,
we said, right? Like we said last time. Like at some point you have to win. Like
right.
you have to win. You win your games.
You got to
And
win your games.
I'm sorry you're in the NESCAC, which is right. Like, but
Right.
every conference can lay that claim. The
Right.
NCAC, the OAC. Look, the top 5 teams are just so good. You're never going to get a chance to to win the tournament or make it right. That's the luck of the draw, and I'm sorry, but
Right.
they're the rules, right? And
Right.
I think that's very real. So anyhow,
All
I'm
right.
gonna
The
watch
next one.
that. Like, if you haven't
Yeah.
noticed, the background is Kenyon Spalding currently at 0-0, although it looks
Is
like Kenyon is
is
dominating.
is Kenyon in white?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, because
Beautiful, beautiful place.
oh
Beautiful.
yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, that the whole action's been down that side the entire
Yeah,
time
yeah,
we've been
yeah,
talking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Next
Okay,
game.
this is a
Oh,
shocker to me. I'm gonna say it. I'm surprised by this one. But
really?
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, Cortland and Messiah. Drum roll. Messiah 60%.
Yeah.
Cortland 24. Draw 16. 60% on Messiah.
That to me is way too high. I'm not
I
saying that
don't. I don't know.
they're not playing better, but they started to win when they got into conference and
Well,
not
big
playing
whoop.
not
Yeah,
yeah,
big whoop. That's the
exactly.
Mac. Right.
Exactly. And
Right.
and Cortland's been I mean, there's some SUNYAC teams that they get to roll over, but Cortland has been playing the entire season against
Yeah.
some top competition, and I just think that I think Cortland is a lot better than people give it credit for, and I don't think Messiah is as good as they
Portland's only
are.
lost three
Or
games.
yeah, but they went on that 8 game winning streak or 9 game
Right.
winning streak, right? That went is all their
Yeah.
conference. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah. This
so
is a little surprising to me too. I mean, I think Messiah is always going to get the benefit of the doubt.
yeah. That I agree with, and that's okay because they still play great soccer. I just don't
Right.
know that they're that effective against good competition or
Right.
good, solid defensive um, competition. I think Cortland is.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I'm just hoping for a Messiah Hopkins matchup, which is
that would be
it's going to be
kicking.
it was going to
That
be
would
very
be
difficult, but it's possible.
that would be kicking. That would
Hopkins would
be
have to be Penn State, and then the winner of Washington and Lee Otterbein. Messiah would
yeah,
have to be Cortland, and then Williams.
yeah.
So um, that would be a cool matchup, but we'll
That
see.
would
I
be a
mean,
great
that's if they
matchup.
even beat Cortland, which a
Yeah.
majority of us seem to think they will, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right,
All
next one.
right.
So we're finally getting into the last two games they're actually even. They're exactly the same numbers, um, which is interesting. I didn't notice that. And they are the last two games, and they are the closest games. Muhlenberg Stevens and Claremont Oglethorpe. Muhlenberg 49%, Stevens 27%, draw 24. So that's as close to 30-30-30 as you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then Claremont's the same way. Claremont 49, Oglethorpe 27, draw 24. So same numbers there in both of them. So you got Muhlenberg over Stevens
Yeah. Claremont.
and Claremont over
Ooh.
Oglethorpe.
I'm
Muhlenberg over
totally
Stevens.
totally bought into Claremont, by the way. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan,
Okay.
right? I must watch different soccer game. I really like there must be like Muhlenberg State that I watch thinking it's Muhlenberg because this to me confounds me. Although I will say I think it's much more aligned to maybe where my thinking would be. Again, third.
Right.
But to give Muhlenberg, I just don't see it out of Muhlenberg. I just don't
Maybe
see
10
it.
points off, maybe 39 on Muhlenberg
Correct. And keep
and
Stevens at 27. That's
yeah,
okay. But then,
but yeah, 34 on the
yeah,
draw. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's where I would have been like, well,
yeah.
if that to me makes a lot more sense than
Yeah.
you know Muhlenberg with 49%. I just watched them. I just don't see it. I just don't see
Well,
it.
I think either one of these are a one and done anyway. They get Amherst in the next game.
You're just like you're just like, hey, let's just cut to the chase. You guys
You know what?
play. Whatever
Right.
happens, you're done. So
Enjoy your
enjoy
Saturday.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would suggest that you even go out and celebrate Saturday night.
Yeah. Go party hard. 2 in the morning.
Because if you just go home after that Saturday game and
You're gonna
just
be
sit in your
bummed.
room and play cards and then get hammered the next day by Amherst, you're gonna wish that you
Oh,
had gone out. So just go out in a blaze of glory.
just go.
Just
Actually,
go
don't
out
even
and
go back
party.
to your hotel. Just keep going
Just
until
go
game
out.
time.
Just go out.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
That's what
Tell
I
us how
would
you
do.
really feel. Oh, that is
That's what I would tell
brilliant.
my players. Guys, you won the first round. Go celebrate.
Come on.
They'll never
Yeah,
be able to
yeah,
take that away from you. Go have a fun
yeah.
night.
The program's got the tab. Oh
Uh,
Lord. Where are they?
they're at
Um,
Amherst.
I know. I'm just like looking for where they're. There it is. Yeah. I picked
Oh,
Stevens
okay.
to play Amherst And then, shocker, I surprised the world, and I picked Amherst to win
Yeah, there you
that
go.
game.
Shocker.
Damn.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So
all
that's
right.
that game, and then the last one is the Claremont Oglethorpe game.
Yeah.
So yeah, Claremont.
I'm a
Okay,
fan.
49%.
Yeah.
Oglethorpe 27. Draw 24. Fan of Claremont, and actually, I think Claremont can win that next game too.
Where are they? There they. Yes.
Connecticut
Yes.
College, Pac Lutheran. I mean, not
Yeah.
Connecticut. Colorado College, Pac
Colorado
Lutheran.
Pack Lutheran. I totally
I
agree.
watched Colorado. I know you were big on Colorado. You really
Yeah.
liked them. I saw them.
They
I
kind
saw
of
them twice.
faded towards the
I
last couple
didn't.
games. Just
I
not
saw them late in the
impressive.
season, and I was not.
Yeah.
I was not overly
No.
impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they. I don't know if they're getting tired or they have injuries or what, but they look
Right.
like they definitely took their foot off the pedal, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So I think that's a good. That's a nice little bracket. Colorado College. Yeah,
yeah.
Colorado College, Pac Lutheran, Oglethorpe, Claremont.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice little bracket. Those four.
They
Those
could
four
be. I'm
teams.
gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. They could be a team that comes out of the Southwest that makes it to the Final Four.
Claremont.
Claremont. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'll take that
I.
bet.
What's that?
I'll take that bet.
Uh, I think okay. Like this. They go Middlebury. They're gonna play. They would go. Claremont would win. They would play the winner, Colorado Pac Lutheran. Claremont wins that, and Claremont goes against who I think more than likely is going to be Middlebury.
Right.
I think they can beat Middlebury,
Okay.
and
And then the
then that
bottom half of the bracket is not as strong as other bottom
correct, and
brackets.
it could
That's
be
fair.
Trinity,
Could be Trinity.
and I think they could beat Trinity, and there
You
they
know,
are final.
you know who it's going to be. It's either going to be Bowdoin or Wesleyan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Babson.
Babson. But I think
I,
that ends that bottom half of the bracket is like you said is not as strong, and I
right.
think they
Yeah.
could run the gauntlet. I think they
Yeah.
could. I
Okay.
think
That's
Claremont could
fair.
run the gauntlet.
That's fair. I agree with you that quadrant is not as strong as some of these other ones.
Not the group of death that the Cortland one is.
Right.
Cortland, Williams, Hopkins, Washington, and Lee
Yeah.
one. Like what?
And then even the top half of that: Dickinson,
Yeah.
Lycombe,
Yeah.
Lynchburg, and Tufts.
Yeah.
Like, come
Awesome.
on.
That MPI. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do they? That's a good. Do they literally just go down the list? Do you think? No, they don't. They have to.
No.
They have to seed these guys. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's all the travel stuff because you
Yeah,
really
that's right.
you
Yeah.
would like to see some of this stuff a little bit different because
Yeah.
there are some first round games that are just head scratchers,
Yeah.
but it's
I
just
did.
because of the
Yeah.
the travel restrictions and stuff like that.
I might do it again. Last year I did I did a random bracket. I just sort of said, here are all the teams, like literally picking out of a hat. Okay, who's up? And
Okay,
that's how
right,
I started up in the left hand corner
right,
and
right.
went down. And I think from a travel perspective, I think it was a wash too. Like
Right.
like it didn't, but what do I know? So yeah, so I'm saying that about Claremont, and then
Okay.
watch Claremont will get knocked out, and Muhlenberg will make it to the Final Four, and Matt Turner will retire and go to Muhlenberg finally.
He's going to be the one who foots the bill for Muhlenberg.
Oh,
Good stuff.
hate mail
Good stuff.
cometh. Hate mail
Good
cometh.
stuff. So those are your 10 games, and this is
All
it.
right.
This is for,
Is
as we
it
said, all the marbles.
10 for
Because
10?
we can't. Next week would be only 8 games, and it's not
Yeah.
fair to only do 8 games if when we've been doing 10. So
Yeah.
uh,
1, 2,
yeah, so this is
3,
it.
4, 5, 6. All right. All right, brother.
It's
That was
it's been
good.
fun, man. It's been
That was
fun. It's
good.
been good.
But we'll be back on, right? Sunday. We'll do something Sunday or
Yeah,
Monday to
we
do a
can do something
recap.
Sunday or Monday to
Yeah.
recap, talk about the winner of the pool, and then we can just talk
Yeah.
about some
How
of the
much
games
we
that are
hate
coming
them.
upcoming.
We'll talk trash. How I was robbed. We'll totally do that.
We can do that.
Totally. Yeah.
We can do that.
So. All right.
All right.
All
Be
right.
well.
Yeah,
Good
you as
luck.
well.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
All right.